Hi, good evening. This is Sir Hassan Dosani. How are you guys doing tonight? If you can see me, hear me, and see the screen, please type yes. Very good. Thanks. So let's wait for 2 more minutes and then we will start when few more students join in. One more minute. Right, let's start. So welcome to tonight's session, P2P session on SBL. My name is Hassan Dosani. And today is our day 5 and the last day of the webinar. So as we know that this is the last day, we would be talking about some important things. So let's get started. Today's plan. So first of all, we will talk about this thing. So I have been receiving a lot of questions that whether we have to follow the sequence of the questions or not. So we'll talk about this. And then we'll move to today's topic, which is integrated reporting. Then we will cover the technical article. And then there'll be recaps, discussions, and all those things. Okay. So if you want to remain in touch with me, kindly join my WhatsApp group. The link will be provided by the admin in the comment box. So you can just click on the link. This is my WhatsApp number. If you face any problem, you can also message me on my number. The way you can ask question is, as usual, you need to type your question in the question box. Please make sure that your question is pertaining to the topic or slide under discussion. Hold your questions which are not pertaining to the slide or topic. In the last, I have allocated 15 minutes tonight because this is the last session. So I've allocated at least 15 minutes of discussion and Q&A. So please hold your questions and we can have a good discussion in the last 15 minutes or so. So today's exam technique is, should we answer the question in sequence? So tell me, what do you think? Will you answer the questions in sequence, or will you try to answer those questions which you think is easy? Let me see your thoughts. Interesting comments. Right. So I'm getting, as usual, I'm getting a mix of answers. Ideally, what I would have done was I would have, we all know there is no negative marking for breaking the sequence. Okay. So ideally, I would have gone for the easy questions first, but there's a small problem. The examiner is very sensitive and touchy about the sequence. Okay. Although there is no restriction, although there is no negative marking if you break the sequence, but the examiner is kind of very senti. You know what I mean? In all the examiner reports, if you read, there is 1 or 2 paragraphs about talking about sequence, right? So what I don't want is to upset the examiner, but then also what I don't want is, miss out the the easy questions. So I have tried to come up with something in between. What I suggest is follow the sequence in the first 3 hours. So if it's a 4-hour paper, right? 1 hour reading time and 3 hours writing time. So the first 3 hours, the reading, then 2 hours of writing, you need to follow the sequence. But in the last hour, I think we should change the sequence if required. Because what happens is there will be, when you reach the last hour, at least 2 questions will be pending. Okay, if you follow your proper time management, or if there's a little bit of overrun, still in the last 60 minutes, at least 2 questions will be pending. So we will follow the sequence for the first 3 hours, including the reading time. But in the last hour, if 2 questions are pending, at that moment, you need to stop. You need to analyze what are the 2 questions which are pending, what are the marks, what are the topics, what is the level of difficulty or easy, and then you select that question to do first, which of course is easy, or where you have higher confidence. Okay. So in this way, what will happen is that in case you run out of time, which question you will miss out? You will miss out that question which automatically you thought was difficult, which makes sense. What I don't want is you trying to attempt a difficult question, and when the time runs out, you miss out a question where you knew the answer, but the time ran out. So please, in the last 60 minutes, you need to stop, take a stock of things, and rearrange the sequence if required based on your confidence level. Okay. Second thing also, I have noticed in most of the paper, the second last question is difficult and the last question is easy. Or sometimes the third last question is difficult and the last question is easy. So imagine the second last question is difficult, and if you don't change the sequence, you will start doing the difficult question first. Because it's difficult, you will panic, you will spend more time, and when you come to the last question and you realize it was such an easy question, your time runs out. So I think it's deliberate trap by the examiner to give a difficult question in the second last question and make the last question easy. So better that in the last 60 minutes you stop and you analyze, spend 2 minutes in deciding and pick up the one which you think is easy. Okay. Any questions on this? Any more suggestions? Can we leave space for question in the middle or should we skip it completely? Good question, Niharika. Niharika is saying, can we leave space for the question in the middle or should we skip it completely and do it at the end? Don't leave space. Okay, skip it. Just you are doing your question. You're mentioning the question number properly, right? So no need to leave space because that would not look good. So you just skip it. Write the proper question number and don't leave any space in between. For CBE, does the sequence matters? Of course, yes. Because the examiner will know because your questions will be left incomplete, right? So this is applicable for CBE as well. Sir, what about the first question? Are they easy compared to the last one? Very difficult question. The first question is I can't say because there's been all sort of varieties. But generally the first question is a big question or a one is to many exhibits, so slightly difficult than the last question. Normally the last question comes from 1:1 exhibit and the first question comes from 1:2 many exhibits, but I can't say because I couldn't see a clear trend on this. No, Junaid, please don't leave a line after each line. It doesn't look professional. Just leave a line after each paragraph. Okay, sometimes students, they are not able to find the answer, right? Or sometimes the information provided is very limited. Or sometimes there is small little bit of information, but the marks allocation is too big. So in that situation, what can we do? Any brilliant ideas? My question is, if sometimes you feel that the information is very less and the marks is too much, what will you do? Because generally I think this is a recent trend which I've noticed that the exhibits are getting shorter and the amount of information available is less. Some are saying write a general point about the topic. Okay. General knowledge will be used. Okay. Definition of the subject matter. Okay. Make judgment and assumptions and then give conclusions. That's better. Use some assumptions. Okay, so all of you are right. If you don't find sufficient information and the marks is a lot, you actually don't have a choice, right? You need to fill up space. But just keep in mind that defining, they will not get you any marks. General talking about here and there will not get you any marks. But you know, we don't have a choice. We do need to fill up some space. Better that you can take assumptions in context to the case and then write. That will be much better. But again, it's easier said than done. Under the exam conditions, you need to be very, very smart how to fill space. For CBE students, you can do Control F. Do you know what is Control F? Control F, you know? So for CBE students, you can do a Control F. For example, if it's a Control F is find Find, yeah, if you want to find any word, yes. So maybe on the CB software it's not Control F, but there is a icon for microscope icon to search. So maybe let's say the question talks about disruptive technologies. So you can just do a find and search and you write disruptive. And through the entire case studies and through all the exhibits, wherever you find the word disruptive, you pick that information and dump it in your answer and then try to frame it. So for CBE students, it might be slightly easier because you can search any relevant word or similar words or words which can link into the topic. Okay, but as I said, there's not a lot you can do. If the information is less and the marks is more, you will need to fill up certain space. But please, one word of caution. When the information is less and marks is more, normally what students do, they panic and they start writing whatever they think they can put in. And they eventually end up spending more time to save that question. Do you understand? That's the bad thing. So make sure that even if you don't know anything and you are trying your best to fill up space and to save the question, please make sure you never overrun the time on that question, because that overrun of time will not fetch you extra 1, 2, 3 marks, because that question is already a sunk cost, right? So maybe you can save 5 minutes, finish it early, and move and invest extra 5 minutes in another question where you can grab some extra marks. Wait a second, people are saying they can't see the screen. Let me let me check my screen. Now you're able to see the screen. Is it okay? Yes, that's good. All right. Fatima, why are you sending question marks? So you should be able to see the screen and my face, right? Okay, can you see the screen move? It's moving, right? Okay. Big data, okay, I'll explain to you. Wait, no problem. Please hold. But Fatima, again, big data is a question which is not relevant to the slide under discussion, right? So please hold such questions till the end. I will not change the topic of discussion because of you. Right, so are we clear that should we follow the sequence or not? And we also touched upon that in case we don't find sufficient information, what can we do? Whatever you think is reasonable, do it. But just make sure that you don't overrun the time on that. You may define the topic, you may pick up the existing scenario. So before you come to the point, you can pick up some current facts. That's a good one, yes. So what you can do is pick up current problems, current issues from the scenario, fill half a page with the current problems and current facts and figures, and then you can come to the actual question rather than talking about general stuff. Try to fill it with current information, current issues, current problems mentioned in the scenario. Okay, right, let's move on. So our next topic is integrated reporting. This is tested like every third attempt or something. It is a topic which has been tested 2-3 times, but not every attempt. The reason I picked up this topic for tonight is that it is slightly a different topic than normal. So I would like to talk about different things to make it easy for you. Simple things, you can do it yourself. So, there is something called financial reporting, right? We all know financial reporting. Which framework does it follow? Normally, internationally, for financial reporting, we follow a framework called IFRS. It could be US GAAPs, it could be Australian GAAPs, but by and large, it is International Financial Reporting Standards. Correct? So, what financial reporting and annual audited accounts are a very important document, right? Because that document is sent to the shareholders, to the owners, to the potential investors. And if, for example, if you have $100,000, okay, if you have $100,000 and you want to invest that $100,000 in few good blue chip listed companies, how will you decide? How will you select which company should you buy shares? So obviously the first thing you would try to obtain is the latest audited annual accounts, and it will be a thick fat document. It will tell you everything about the company, right? So financial accounts, financial reports is a very key document for shareholders and for potential investors and other key stakeholders. Agreed? Now, can you think of few drawbacks or limitations of a financial report, financial reporting, annual accounts? Think of 2 or 3 limitations or drawbacks of a financial statement or a financial report. Think. What? Think like a potential investor. So you want to decide which company's shares you want to invest, and you are looking at a financial report. So what are the limitations of financial reporting? Very good. Somebody is saying it's historical. Historical means it just talks about actuals, right? What has happened in the past. Last year, last 2 years, last 5 years. It doesn't, historical means that it doesn't talk about future. Whereas you as a potential investor is more interested in the future profitability of the company, right? That's a very big limitation, that financials are historical. And then it's too much financial focused document. It does not talk about business environment, the business strategies, SWOT and TOES, and all those things which you as a potential investor is more interested to know. It doesn't cover social and environmental aspects, which some of the investors are very keen to know. It is just quantitative. So I'm just reading your very good. Short-term analysis of the business. Very good, Safwan. Safwan is saying it is short-term. Can't understand what value it adds to the company. Very good. Very nice. So these are very genuine limitations. And guys, keep up this, okay? So this you are able to give very logical points. So please keep up with this smart thinking. This will really help you in your exam. I'm impressed. So here is a quick difference between a financial report and a integrated reporting. So there is a financial reporting, and then because there was some limitations of financial reporting, so then something called integrated reporting was invented. It came into existence, and it also follows, they have their own integrated reporting framework. Okay, it was established in early 2000s. So companies, they can use, instead of financial reporting, they can use and they can prepare integrated reports rather than financial reports. So if you look at the difference, it focuses on financial information, but integrated reporting focuses on the entire business performance. It's a 360 degree. It's a 360-degree view, whereas a financial statement is just focusing like 90% on the financials. Then secondly, the financial statements focuses on historic performance, but integrated reporting, it focuses on future strategies. Financial reporting, it focuses on share capital, but in integrated reporting, it focuses on 6 capital. So as per integrated reporting framework, an organization has 6 types of capitals, not only share capital. We'll talk about 6 capitals. Financial reporting, less emphasis on social and environmental, whereas integrated reporting, covers social and environmental aspects. Short-term annual results, long-term value creation. See, these are, so keeping in mind the drawbacks or the limitations of financial statements, integrated reporting was created, and it exactly focuses on the drawbacks of financial statements. All right, so now a little bit of theoretical definition. So what is the role or definition of what is an integrated reporting? So there is a standard definition issued by the body of integrated reporting. It says an integrated reporting is a concise communication demonstrating the link between 4 things: the mission, objectives, the strategies. So first of all, you see, in any company, the first thing we make is mission or objectives, followed by strategy. Then the strategy will get you financial outcomes, and then the 4th thing is social and environmental context. And it shows how organizations creates value in short, medium, and long term. So it's a very theoretical definition issued by the body. So I'm afraid if there's a question on IR, then you will need to reproduce this this definition, that what is a IR. Okay, so it's an integrated report, shows a concise communication showing the link between 4 things: the mission or objective, the strategy, the financial performance, and social environmental impact. And it shows how organization plans to create value in short, medium, and long term. Like it was more futuristic, future plans, future strategies, how shareholders' wealth will be increased, what's the plan. And then what are the contents of an integrated reporting? If you open this document, you will see organization's overview. Obviously, you will see an analysis of the external environment, a SWOT analysis, future strategies, how organization will plans to create or make money in long run, and it talks about the 6. All right, this is a little bit of theoretical side, but this you will need to remember this. 6 capital. So what? So let me see if there's any questions before I move to 6 capital. Yes, 6 capital. I'm coming to 6 capital. Very much prone to subjectivity. Yes, Amna. That's the biggest drawback of IR, that it is subjective in nature. Yeah. So the 6 capitals as per the integrated reporting framework, the first capital is the usual, the financial capital. So under this heading, the financial performance of the company is analyzed. So the whatever we do, like the balance sheet, the P&L, the cash flow, the ratio analysis, all this, the usual financial statements activities is covered under financial capital. Obviously not in so much detail, because IFRS requires so much technical details, like retirement benefits and deferred taxation. No, this is very simple balance sheet, P&L, cash flows, commentary on financial position. Is the company financially stable, financially strong? Can it raise, finances in future if required? So this is all the usual overall financial performance and position of the company, which is the balance sheet and the P&L, sources of funds for future strategies. The second one is called manufactured capital. Now, it focuses on tangible assets. What do I mean by tangible? Non-current assets like plant and machinery, and current assets like inventories, or you can also say working capital, because working capital is also tangible. So you will analyze some KPIs, some ratio analysis relating to plant and machinery or non-current assets, and you will analyze the KPIs and ratios relating to working capital and current assets, like liquidity ratios, current asset ratio, asset test ratio, all those things. The third one is intellectual capital, which is intangible asset, and here we talk about research, development, innovation, brands, patents, technical staff, skilled labor, R&D staff, R&D, research and development. Okay, so this is my intellectual capital. I think we did this yesterday as well, intellectual capital somewhere. Human capital, the fourth capital as per the IR framework is human capital. As the name says, it talks about employees. The skills, knowledge and experience of employees, productivity and efficiency, staff turnover, employee satisfaction, surveys, employee training, employee motivation, everything leading to employee covered here. The fifth capital is social capital, and the sixth capital is natural. Social, you remember we did social yesterday. Social talks about three things, right? Employees, customers and suppliers, and society and community. So employees is covered here under human capital. So this one, social, will talk about customers, suppliers, communities, government, CSR, all those things. And in natural capitals, we'll talk about the ecological aspects like carbon, CO2, recycling, pollution, scarce resources. So we've studied all this one way or other, right? We know social footprint, environmental footprint. So points of social footprint is covered under social capital. Points for environmental footprint is covered under natural capital. In points relating to employees is covered under human capital. Any intangible asset is intellectual capital. Tangible asset is manufactured capital. And financial balance sheet, P&L, is financial capital. Don't worry, we will do a question right after this, so you will know how to apply this knowledge. Any questions? You said technical staff and intellectual capital, then why they are not in human capital? That's the model, man. That's the, and some, you can also show it as a human capital, but then what you will show in intellectual capital. So it's up to you, but generally technical staff, highly skilled, highly technical staff, not you and me. We are also technical, but the real technical staff is part of intellectual capital. Any recommended mnemonic to memorize? No, I don't know any mnemonic. if someone can suggest any mnemonic to memorize the 6 capital. Shin FM, okay. Shin FM, Shin SHIN and FM radio, FM, okay. MN Fish, MN Fish, Fish NM. Okay, guys, whatever is easy for you. I'm cool. Right. Now, what are the advantages of integrated reporting? Or let's talk about the disadvantages first. Now, don't you think that disclosing our future strategies, how we intend to create value or wealth in long run, isn't that supposed to be a confidential information? Right? So too much commercial information. Do you agree with this limitation? Especially about future. So our competitors will actually know what we are up to, right? So that's why integrated reporting is not adopted by commercial organizations, right? Because obviously they want to keep their strategies to themselves, not to make it public to everybody. And then someone has mentioned in the student comments that valuation of 6 capitals is quite subjective. Now, how do you, it is, all those 6 capitals sounds fancy. Except for financial capital or tangible capital, all the others, intellectual, human capital, social capital, environmental capital, how do you place a value? So it is very subjective. And hence because it is also subjective, the audit of integrated reporting documents is also very difficult. So these are limitations. But then why do we go for integrated reporting? But then, these commercial organizations, they would never adopt IR. Then who would go for IR? So at the moment, all these charitable organizations, non-profit organizations, professional bodies who are not there for commercial objective, government entities, public companies. Public company means like police and post office and railways. These are encouraged to adopt integrated reporting because they are, let's say, a charitable organization, or they're being run on government taxes. They are expected to be very transparent and disclose what they intend to do in the future. So as of now, IR is more applicable or more adapted by charitable organizations and government entities. Okay, but slowly and gradually, few societies have adopted. But no, in fact, many companies have adopted integrated reporting because they want to demonstrate their social and environmental activities. So what they've done is they have adopted, but they have not included all the components. They have just included the positive components without compromising on the future strategies. They keep it confidential, but other than that, whatever can be disclosed to the public, which is good, then they use integrated report as a tool. Okay, so what are the advantage of integrated reporting? It is a voluntary disclosure. First of all, what is a voluntary disclosure? That it is not mandated by any law. Organizations, they themselves opt. So if it's a voluntary disclosure, it enhances the image and reputation for transparency. All right, it gives a positive image. It kinds of gains shareholders or potential investors confidence that this company is good. They are trying to disclose everything, 360 degrees, future plans, past, That's good. It's an effective communication with all stakeholders. It integrates social and environmental aspects in decision making. It focuses on 6 capitals. It demonstrates how the organization creates value. It may attract investment at a lower capital because there's greater availability of information. Shareholders or potential investors are more confident about such transparent companies, and it may give competitive edge over other companies in the sense that people look at you as a good, ethical, transparent company. All of this is fancy, I know, but still, these are certain advantages. So do you know ACCA has been publishing integrated report for last so many years. So after the webinar, it is your assignment that you Google and you open up. But let me see if I can open up ACCA's integrated report. That's the second, guys. Let me open up ACCA's integrated report and show it to you. Is that okay? But you need to give me 1 minute. Let's see if I can find it. It's just downloading. And where is it? Okay, this is just downloading. Give me. Aha, here it is. ACCA, and then our purpose, our values, our inclusion. Okay, guys, good. About this report, our highlights. Okay, so see these 81.3% satisfaction, 48.3% key employers preferring to recruit ACCA, 92.3. So all those nice KPIs. Who's this beautiful lady? She's the president. Oh, I see. And value creation model. Do you see? Nice. This is they are showing how we create value. So key resources. You see, it's a fancy, interesting something showing how they create value. And in the end, do you see this social impact? This one, red one, this one, social impact. That's the ultimate objective, I think. Chief Executive Strategic Report. So the president is a lady and the CEO is a lady. So that's good diversity. Remember diversity? And all those strategic progress and progress strategy or ACCA strategy. They're talking about their strategies, their targets for next year, our global context. Right, stakeholders, engagement and materialities and all those activities. What else? Member, students, strategic performance. 19. all those performance, strategic performance, our risks and their management. You see, they're now talking about their risks. What are the key risks? Oh, we did. You see, we did a question yesterday on risk register. So now just look at this. Oh my God, that's a jackpot. You see, so what are the risks? Unable to accurately forecast income and cost. And what are they doing to mitigate that? Ability to operate is restricted. Oh, that's because of COVID, I think. And this is so very nice. Digital transformation. EU, challenges and opportunities arising as a result of UK exiting from EU. Very nice. So you, in real life, you're able to see a risk thing, governance and leadership. Interesting phases. And then strategy to 2025 measures and targets. So now no commercial organization would actually disclose this, right? Their future strategies, what they plan to do. Aha, good one. So you enjoyed seeing a real integrated report. It may not necessarily contain all the headings because IR framework is not restrictive. It doesn't force you. It just says disclose whatever you want to disclose, but more from a 360-degree point of view, more from a futuristic point of view. Yes, I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed watching the risks, main risk section, where it was very real thing, and it reminded me of, yeah. All right, cool. Let's do a quick question. Guys, you can hear me because some students are saying I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Please, can I have a yes? Okay. Okay, all right. So let's do this question. SBL specimen paper 1. DCS question number 1A2. Just let me open the question, please. Okay. So this is specimen paper 1, and we are doing this question for integrated reporting. Remember this guy, Hui Louis, a management consultant and DCS company. We did a couple of questions in last few days. So this question is 1A2. Evaluation of the overall performance of DCS company between 2012 and 2015 from an integrated reporting perspective. Very interesting. So they want us to analyze or evaluate, or basically the professional skills is evaluation, which means we need to cover both pros and cons. So in the case, exhibit 3 is given, which is a very specific exhibit. Exhibit 3, extracts of the integrated reporting data 2012 to 2015 from the finance director Tosh. I would say it's a 1:1 exhibit because it's a very specific thing, and I think the size would be small. Yeah, it's not even full page. So now you will need to use exhibit 3 to analyze the performance of this company from integrated reporting perspective. So the first heading you can see is, and the other one is, so can anybody tell me the financial performance, which capital should we include the financial performance? Very good, very good. So good, I'm glad. So it is just the usual ratio analysis which we need to do, and all this financial performance, our comments will be under the heading of financial performance. But first I would like to decide how many points I need to give. So how do you decide how many points? 12 plus 4, but this professional marks is to be split between environment, which is part 1, and performance, which is part 2. So I would say half of it. So 12 is technical marks plus 2 professional marks, 14 total marks, divide by 2. I need 7, maximum 8 points. Okay. But because, do you remember I said in yesterday that if you feel that it is a financial analysis question, a financial analysis is supposed to be your strong area, so it's worth spending 5 more minutes extra, worth spending 1 or 2, worth giving 1 or 2 points extra so that you can grab 1 or 2 marks extra. So I don't mind giving up to 9 points as well, as long as I'm able to identify the points. So also we did a financial ratio. So the first thing, what do we analyze? We analyze sales revenue. What's happening with sales? Is it decreasing or increasing? It 4.7, then it became 6.8 and 7.4. Till here it was good. Yeah. Just a second. So till here it was increasing, but now it's got decreasing. So 2015, which is the current year, the revenue has gone down. And what happens to the gross profit? It's kind of okay, but it has gone down here. But gross profit margin, you will need to calculate what? You will need to calculate the GP margin or percentage, right? Can anybody let me know what was the gross profit margin in year 1 and what is the gross profit margin in year 4? %28.5%. Oh, 44 and 45. Okay. And 28. Okay. So here the GP margin is for 45%, and now it has gone down to 28%. This is good or bad? Is this good or bad? So can anybody tell me what can be the reason why your gross profit margin goes down? What is the most common reason? If I say that the gross profit margin has almost dropped by 40%, this simply means, yes, very good, guys. So just you, yes, I think all of you are right, but just use this word. Use this word. This simply means that the cost of sales is not being managed in line with reduction in revenues. If your revenue is going down, but your cost of sales is not going down in the same proportion, then it will squeeze or it will reduce your gross profit margin. Now, cost of sales is not going down. Maybe there could be many possible reasons. Some of you said it's inflation. Some of you said there might be some element of fixed costs, staff, production workers, which you cannot lay off. I don't know. But all this, I want to see one paragraph on sales revenue where you will say that although sales was increasing from 2012 to 2014, however, in 2015, it was the first year when the sale was has reduced from last year. The reason for the reduction in revenue needs to be investigated. That's it. Then your next paragraph will say GP margin, and you will say that the GP margin in 2012 was 45%, which has drastically or significantly reduced to 28% in 2015. The reason of this reduction is that the cost of sales is not being managed in line with the reduction in sales revenue. This needs further investigation. Easy, boys and girls? Do you get the hang of it? The very basic. You remember the age of the board of directors, how old they are? Remember the age of the board of directors? 5 years. They are 5-year-old. So you just explain to them. Now, overheads overhead is good. Huh? It's reduced. Overhead is good. It's reduced. But then I'm more interested in the profit before taxation. So can anybody let me know the operating margin percentage? Like the way same we calculated for gross profit. Now what is the net profit margin percentage? Is 17 to 12. Okay, don't worry about decimals. So now it was 17% and it's gone down to 12%. And can anybody also calculate the same thing, profit for the year, as a percentage of sales revenue? Profit for the year, for first year and last year. 11 in year one. Okay, and 2%. Oh, 11 and 2%. Oops. So it was 11% and now it's down to, oh my God, this is really, this is really bad. Do you think you need to flag this to the board as CFO? That previously we were getting 11%, but now bottom line is 12%. And the main reason is that previously our GP was 45%, which drastically reduced to 28%. And then what about finance cost? Oh my God, it's increasing. I think it, can anybody tell me the finance cost? It increased from 0.14 to 0.69. What is the percentage increase? 5 times. That's good. 80%. No, I think more than 80%. 500%. Yes. 20%. No. 500% makes sense to me. Come on, guys. 393%. Do I need to pick up my calculator? Okay, I don't trust you guys. So 0.14 minus 0.69 divided by 0.14 492, almost almost it's gone up by 500% increase over last 4 years. You think you need to tell the board about this? Tell the all the old boys that listen guys, finance costs. So what are the two main reasons why the bottom line profit has gone down? I believe it's one is the fall in gross profit because of sales and costs of sales, and then there's a significant rise in finance costs. So how many paragraphs? I think 3-4 is okay. So one was for one paragraph for sales, one paragraph for cost of sales, one paragraph on finance risk cost, and maybe gearing, one paragraph on profit for the year. 3-4 paragraph enough? And if you want to cover, that's it, because we already have 4 points, and then we need to talk about others as well, right? So let's not go over the time management. Do I have any questions on the finance capital? Did you see how I kept it so simple, very basic stuff, and just present to the 5-year-old boys, look guys, sales has gone down, cost of sales is not going down in the same proportion, which means your GP is now gone, and then the finance cost is increasing because our long-term loan is increasing, and bottom line, we were making 11%, but now it's just 2%. If this trend continues, maybe next year we will not even make 2%. We might go into a loss. Sir, do I have to predict any reasons? Interesting question. So Nino is saying, do I have to predict any reasons for the variance? Ideally, yes, because the boys will ask, the 5-year-old boys will ask why it has gone down, because that's the next logical question. Now there are two options. Either the information is given in one of the exhibits. So for example, if it is mentioned there why the revenue has gone down, or it's mentioned why the costs are going up, or it's mentioned why the long-term loans are still going up, then you must give the reasons, because the board will obviously ask why the revenue has gone down. So you need to write the reason. If the reasons are not in the exhibits, or maybe you are not able to find them, then you just say the reason needs further investigation. Don't try to create any assumption on your own. Either you give a specific reason from the exhibit, or you just say that this could be due to inflation. However, this needs further investigation. That's it. But what I wanted to actually show you was how easy and basic financial analysis is required in SBL. Maybe in other ACCA papers, you need to do a complicated and a more detailed thing. But for SBL, because your audience is 5-year-old boys, you need to keep your analysis very basic. Did you see that? That's the main thing. Again, someone is asking, we use a conclusive tone. No, don't. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, don't use it. It's up to you. If you're very confident, you can use a conclusive tone. If you're not confident, you may say may or likely. It's up to you. This is the beauty of SBL. As long as you are logically correct, you will get full marks. Shweta is asking an interesting question. She's saying, sir, shouldn't we write equal sub-points under all capitals? Shweta, did the board ask you to do equal points under each capital, or is it the examiner's fear? You tell me, Shweta. Do you think the board will ask you for equal number of points, otherwise they will fire you? Or is it because you think the examiner, and is it because of the marks allocation? Come on, Shweta, let me know. Please, as I said in many classes, that change your mindset. Forget that you are doing a paper to an examiner. It all depends on the availability of the information. How can you have equal number of points under each heading? Is this a KG2 exam or is it a professional case study paper? You need to understand. It's a case study. It all depends on the points available. That is why we do planning for number of points. Okay, that in total the number of points should be sufficient. It is not necessarily that all headings should have equal number of points. It's just in total. Okay. Right. Sweta, you're not replying. What happened? Okay. Now let's move. I want to clean this. Okay. Can I quickly clean this? Now let's move to other capitals. So we've given like 4 or 5 points already. I've given 4 points here or 4 paragraph here, maximum 5. Now look at number of employees. Where will this go? Which capital? Number of employees? So this one is number of employees. It will go human capital. What about the other one? Staff turnover. Staff turnover. Staff turnover, where it will go? Human capital or social capital? Human capital. Anything to do with staff, anything to do with employees is human capital. So can I say human capital? Number of orders delivered late. Oh. Number of orders delivered late. Any guess? Let's see how intelligent you are. Operation? What is operation? My God. Social capital. What is the logic of social capital? No toil. What is the logic of social capital? Customers. Somebody is saying manufacturing capital. Manufacturing capital talks about tangible assets. Number of orders delivered late. How is that a tangible asset? It's social. Yeah, absolutely. Because number of orders delivered late, that means it affects your customers, customer satisfaction. Anything of it affects your customers is social capital. How about this one? Customers complaint as a percentage of total orders. Customer complaint again is a social capital. How about employee satisfaction survey score? Employee satisfaction. Yes, human. How about investment in non-current manufacturing equipment? Non-current asset. Manufacturing capital. How about R&D expenditure? R&D intellectual capital. Carbon emission. Environmental capital. And I don't know about this. Forward contract order. I know about this, but I don't want to discuss about it. Forget about it. We already have so many points. So let's do one. We have got one paragraph on environmental capital. We will say that the carbon emission, is it improving or depleting? Carbon emission in kg per dollar 1,000 sales revenue. Carbon emission is increasing from 60 to 80. Is increasing good or bad? If carbon emission is increasing, is it good or bad? It's bad, right? So it is depleting. We will say that the environmental capital is depleting because the carbon emission has increased from 60 in 2012 to 80 in 2015. And that's it. Okay. What about intellectual capital? R&D expenditure as a percentage of sales. So it was previously it was 6%. R&D expenditure was 6%. Now it is 3% of sales. So is R&D expenditure increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. So again, we will use the same wording. We will say that the intellectual capital is depleting because research and development expenditure as a percentage of sales revenue has decreased from 6% 2012 to 3% in 2015. This needs further investigation. Or if the case provides any reason, then you reproduce the reason here. Manufacturing capital. What's happening to manufacturing capital? It says investment in manufacturing equipment as a percentage of sales. Earlier it was 10%, now it's 7%. This is also decreasing, this is depleting. Okay, what about social capital? So it's so easy. Social capital, customer complaint was 1.5% and now it's 3.4%. It's increasing. So again, social capital is depleting because, and again, you can also use this and this. And human capital, you can, so there's lots of points available. So just make sure that you try and spend 5 minutes extra on this question, because as I had said earlier, any financial related question or exhibit, it will help you grab extra marks. So spend 5 minutes extra and try to give 1 or 2 extra points because the information is available, it's easy. So please invest 4 minutes and give up to 10 points. But present it nicely, professionally, and in simple manner. So if the capital is increasing, we will say it's improving or increasing. And if it is deteriorating, it will say it's depleting or deteriorating. You have to mention positive points as well. Yes, very good. And why do you have to mention positive points? Can you please remind me? Why do you have to mention positive points? Because of evaluation. Now, who is this? Mohammed Waqas is asking, can I show calculations? Should we all shoot Mr. Waqas? Yes, yeah. My wife is saying yes. Surely, yes. Waqas is saying, should we show? My friend Waqas, will the board of directors ask you to show them the calculations? If yes, then you are working in a wrong company. Let's shoot you, Mr. Waqas. You don't deserve to give this paper. I'm just joking, but please, huh? No, Waqas, no need to be sorry, but I think maybe you missed just missed the earlier lectures, but please, huh? You need to think like a CFO, not like a student accountant. Positive point we have to give. So where is the positive points? I don't see any positive points. Everything is depleting. Number of employees is falling down. Staff turnover is increasing. Customer complaint is depleting. Employee satisfaction survey, it is also decreasing. So where can we find something positive? Because you are right, we have to give at least 1 point positive if you have to score evaluation skill. So please help me, guys. Help me. Where can I find a positive? Okay. What about this? Employee numbers are decreasing. It's decreasing. Can anybody calculate efficiency ratio? Do you remember efficiency ratio? Revenues divided by number of employees. Can you let me know the efficiency ratio here, which is revenues divided by number of employee and revenues divided by number of employee. Efficiency ratio. I'm just making a guess. I need efficiency ratio. Overhead expense is decreasing. It's not actually, because it is the profit margin is reducing. 18% in 2015. No. Revenue per employee. Please let me know the revenue per employee. What is the revenue per employee in 2015? 37,000. Okay. I don't know what you guys are trying to do. Baba, revenue per employee. What's the revenue in 2012? 4.75 divide by number of employees. 4.75 divide by what this denomination is, millions. Okay. 4750000 divide by 150. So 31,600. 31,666. And revenue per employee in this year is 695,000 divided by 127 employees. It is 54,724. So efficiency ratio has improved. To this point, you might want to cover under human capital as a positive point. Understood? All right, guys. I think this was a good question from two perspectives. One was obviously the concept of integrated reporting and six capital. But secondly, it was a good question where it showed you how you do a financial analysis or a performance analysis in SBL. Very simple, very basic. Vakas bhai, no calculations, small paragraphs. That's it. Okay. So now, yes, Chandani. Good. All right. So what's left now? Before the break, I just want to cover one technical article quickly, and then I will give a break. It will take maximum 10 minutes. Do you want a break now and then do the article? Up to you guys. Want the break now? Okay, let's do a break now. Okay, I think today we are exhausted. All right, so guys, break. It's 8:48. Let's make it 8:50 to 9 p.m. Pakistan time. I will see you in around 11 minutes. All right, guys. If you are back and able to see me, hear me, please can I have a yes? Thank you so much. Yes, Aditya. Yes, I'm talking about it, Abu Bakr. Okay. So the technical article, our next topic is technical article. And the last technical article relating to SBL was about something called cyber security. Okay, this one. I'll just hide it a bit. Cyber security. Sugar. First of all, do you know what is the meaning of cyber security, or can I say cyber risk? So can you guys think of 2 or 3 major cyber related risks? Hacking, very good. Virus, leaking of personal information, risk of manipulation of customer data, cyber crimes, data leaks, internet frauds. This is all I'm reading from you guys. Malware, excellent, impressive, very good. Data tampering. Okay, do you think in today's day and years, the role of technology is most vital for any organization? There's a very, very high business dependency on IT. 100% yes. And as time is passing, there's so much dependency on IT and cyber that we cannot even imagine a life without IT or organization without IT, correct? If now, if something happens, if there is a cyber, if a cyber risk happens, imagine it's a bank and customer credit data is leaked, or customers ATM passwords have been leaked or hacked. Serious matter, right? What is the consequence? Like, what can happen to the organization if there is a cyber related issue? Legal consequences, very good. Reputational, very nice. Legal, reputational. Business disruption, good one. Business disruption. Loss of trust, legal, fine. Going concern, maybe if that's big enough, yes. Very good. So these are big things: reputational loss, loss of customer, loss of revenue, business disruption, legal fines. Can you guys share any recent example of some cyber in the global media? Yahoo, something happened with Yahoo, huh, Ali? eBay. Do you remember this Twitter thing? Twitter was hacked, and this, during the elections, Trump account and Obama's account was all hacked. Yes. Give me global examples, guys. K Electric, nobody knows K Electric. Earthquake in Pakistan. You mean when? Now? Ransomware attack, that's a big risk, yes. Oh my God, which city earthquake in which city in Pakistan? Earthquake in Lahore, Islamabad, Rawalpindi. Oh, there's a big one. Oh my God. It was like you guys really felt the earthquake, like everything was shaking. Was it the major one? Wow. Just take 5 seconds and say a small prayer. Okay, earthquake is not good. Okay, I hope and pray everything is okay on your side. Right. So I think you did the topic. So cyber security. So the first thing is, why is cyber security important? We all discussed this in a very casual manner. The first thing is because these days the value of data has increased. Every organization, they are running after data, digital. So electronic data and electronic medium is really the value or importance has increased. It will lead to business disruptions. It will lead to reputational issues, loss of customer, loss of revenue, and which means loss in market share, legal cases, regulatory fines, bad decision makings. If your data is tampered, then the board will make wrong strategic decisions. So very, very important. Why is IT security important? All these reasons. Now, there are two types of components in IT. One is hardware, and obviously the other component is software or data. And organizations, they need to protect both their hardware and the software. They cannot ignore either one. So for hardware, what can go wrong? What can go wrong with your hardware? And most importantly, the hardware means your servers, your server where all your data is stored and processed, and your physical devices like laptops. These are the most sensitive ones, the servers and the physical mobile laptops. Do you think unauthorized access to server is a risk? Yes. Do you think power failure is a risk? Yes. Damage or malfunction to the hardware? Yes. Fire? Yes. How about, is this a risk? Just right now, 1 minute back in Pakistan. So what are the normal security controls to protect hardware? The most important one is physical access controls, especially your server rooms. Wherever your server is kept, it has to be physically secure. How do you secure your servers? There could be guards, biometrics, swipe cards, like nobody can enter, CCTVs. You just need to make sure that only authorized people are able to enter the server rooms. Okay, because you just need to press one button and everything will go. So authorized persons, physical security, all those things. Then fire protection, power protections, all those things. Easy, right? Very easy. When we talk about data, what can go wrong? We just discussed this: hacking, cyber crimes, data loss, viruses, software malfunctions, unauthorized access or unauthorized transactions, which is again kind of hacking. How do you think, what security controls are there on data? The most important is this called logical access controls, which in simple language means passwords. There was a, if you go back, there was a physical access control. This is for hardware. And then there is a logical access control. Logical word, logical means the intangible, the data. So password management, we all know that the password has to be alphanumeric. It has to change regularly. We cannot write or share with anyone. It should lock down the system after 3 incorrect attempts. Now these days, the most in thing right now is, do you know this? How many of you know OTP? Now this is the next thing. Everybody is doing OTPs or voice recognition or eye retina or facial recognitions. What is OTP? One-time password. Yes, for banks. Even if you create your WhatsApp account or you create your Facebook or you change password of your Gmail account, they will send you a one-time code on your personal mobile or on your email, just to make sure that it is you. It's not the hacker sitting in China or sitting in Barbados. It's you. Okay. So OTP, please add OTP here. Very good. Any questions on cyber security? Now, one more thing, there is something called cyber insurance as well. So what are, and then as an accountant, as a finance professional, maybe we need to analyze investments, that we need to make some investments in security, cyber security. So that's a long-term thing. These are expensive. So as maybe a question might come that, analyze the feasibility of investing in a security system and costs like cyber insurance, all those things. Any questions on cyber security? What is ethical hacking? I'm sorry, I have no clue. Ethical hacking? I don't know. Oh, even through Google Authenticator. Very good, Danish. Google Authenticator is another app which secures OTPs. Very nice. Good example. Dark web. Dark web. Yes, dark web is there. What is cyber insurance? You should be able to guess, Mishal. Fire insurance means what? If there's a fire, you will get a claim. Theft insurance, similarly, cyber insurance. If there's a loss to the organization due to any cyber related risk like hacking or system downs, then you can take an insurance and cover against the consequences of cyber attack. Very good, Danish. Okay, yes, Anu, I got it. All right. Now I want to, while we are at cyber, we covered this article. Okay, this article is done. But I just quickly want to touch upon two small IT related topics. One is disruptive technology. I think Ria was writing every day on the comment, please talk about disruptive. And the other one is cloud computing. I'll just spend a couple of minutes on each of them. Disruptive technology means any technology which disturbs the traditional or upsets the traditional business model. The word disruptive means disturb or discontinue or, conflict. Disruptive technology, any new technology which disturbs the existing or the traditional or the conventional business model. Can you give examples of disruptive technologies? Blockchain, okay, Uber, Kareem, Bitcoin, e-business, electric cars, smartphones, okay, artificial intelligence, online classes, Airbnb, Daraz, oh, don't give Pakistani examples, but yes, cryptos, internet. Okay. So what did Uber did? Uber disturbed the entire taxi or the public transportation business, right? What did Airbnb did? It disturbed the entire hotel mafia. What about Netflix? Netflix is a disruptive technology as well, right? It disturbed the entire TV channels and the traditional movie make watching mediums. Someone said online teaching. Oh yes, online teaching has disturbed a lot of physical colleges and this and that. When we talk about finance, so in finance also there are so many technological development happening that there are disruptive technologies in finance as well, and those are called fintechs, short form for financial technology. So these fintechs is causing disturbance to the old traditional ways of financial activities. For example, crypto. What is a cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a currency. You can make payment, you can receive payment, you can buy stuff from that, but it is crypto. That means it does not exist physically. It is an electronic or a digital currency. Which country it belongs to? No country. It's somewhere out in the air. Yeah, bitcoins and Ethereum and all those things. So this cryptocurrencies is really disturbing the physical currency, the central banks, the commercial banks, to the extent that now the commercial banks are, for example, China has announced that they will officially have their own cryptocurrency backed by the central bank, because they are now seeing this as a real and present danger. So before this gets really serious, they will launch their own cryptocurrencies. Can anybody remind me the name of the Chinese crypto which they are planning to launch, or they have already launched? I don't know, but you're right, Dania, Dayang. World Bank tried to ban all these currencies, and the more you try to ban them, the more popular they are getting. And recently, Tesla invested $1.5 billion. Yes, Danish, very good example. Nigeria Central Bank has informed all banks not to trade crypto. Yes, Kamal, but then maybe later on they will have to find a way. So fintech. Now blockchain, another interesting thing happening in finance, our field. Blockchain is it is a kind of a distributed ledger. This is the way the data is recorded. The way the data, the accounting data, the transactional data is recorded in the systems. It is now changed, and it is so secure, and it is so authentic and trustworthy that you don't need auditors anymore. You don't need anyone anymore. As long as the data is saved in a blockchain, it is done. No audit. You just print it and give it to anyone and people will believe it. There is a full article on blockchain like few months back in your ACCA. In ACCA, cryptocurrency and blockchain. These were the last 2-3 articles just before the cyber security article, blockchain. And so this was covered in my September. Yeah, this blockchain and cryptocurrency was covered in my September webinar on day 5. So you can watch that. In fact, you must watch the day 5 technical videos to get an idea about blockchain and cryptocurrency. So you understand disruptive technology, any technology which upsets or conflicts with the existing business or the traditional business model is called a disruptive technology. The main concept here is how to deal with disruptive. If I'm a business, if I'm a college, okay, I'm a physical college, and suddenly this online and Zoom and webinars is using technology is kind of affecting my business. It's now taking away many of my customers because now they can access good teachers anywhere in the world at reasonable prices, even free of cost. So now if I see that, people are moving towards online, what should I do? What is the general strategy? Update yourself according to requirement. Invest in such technology. Very good. I'm just reading your comments. Try to adopt, offer online course. Very nice. So the general rule of thumb is, if we feel as an organization that disruptive technology is gonna stay and in future it will increase or expand, then it's better that from now we start investing and expand or extend a little part of our business into the disruptive technology. We put our feet inside the door and slowly grow with it. Yes, very good. The second topic I just want to talk about is cloud computing. Cloud computing is another new thing which is happening. It's not new, it's there for like several years now, but that's a big thing these days. Every company is going for cloud computing, including my company. So in the traditional IT environment, we all know that organizations, they need servers. Okay, the server is the large computer where all the organizational data is stored, it is processed. So think of a bank. It's a bank which is across the whole country, more than 1,000 branches, 1 million credit cards, 1 million debit cards, ATM machines. You can charge your credit card even if you are traveling, or OTPs, all so much thing happening, billions of data. Where is all this data? It is sitting on their servers. Server, right? So for a bank, the server is very, very important. If there's a blast in the server, everything will be gone. Now these servers, if you're a very big organization, then you need huge servers. They are expensive. When you need huge servers, then you need huge space to keep them. And just a little while back, we talked about physical access controls, that these servers are not a joke. You need to make sure they are properly secured. Then you need to hire people who are expert in servers and this and that. So this can become a significant cost. You take the cost of the physical server, you then take the cost of the IT department, then you take the cost of the rent and all those extra security measures. This converts into a big cost. And especially small or medium organizations, they are not always able to afford this kind of a cost, or they can't arrange this kind of expertise or hire experts for server and security. So then the concept of cloud computing came, that instead of me buying my own physical server, I can use someone else's server using internet. A very simple example. Most of you will have a Gmail account, email ID. You have an email ID, maybe Gmail, maybe Yahoo, maybe Hotmail, whatever. You have an email, right? Where is that email data saved? Is it on your laptop? Is all the email saved on your laptop or your desktop, in your office or in your home? Where is all your emails, or for that matter, Facebook, or for that matter, your WhatsApp data? Where is all those safe? Which PC? Nowhere, right? It is somewhere in the clouds. Somewhere clouds. It's not saved on your personal physical device. All that data is somewhere in the cloud. It is on someone else's server. So WhatsApp data is on WhatsApp server. You will access your account through a user ID and password. Similarly, your emails, Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, wherever it is, it's not on your, it's not saved on your physical device. You will access your data using a user ID and password, right? So there are certain advantages. You don't need to invest in any physical device. You can log into your data from anywhere in the world as long as you have any PC and internet, even in a cyber cafe, you can do it, right? So it is, and then these cloud providers like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, these are very big names. So you will get access to high quality, secure technical services. But then there are certain limitations or risks of cloud computing. Can you think of any 2 or 3 risks or disadvantage of cloud? Data breach. Okay, interesting. Data breach. Dependency on what? Internet connection. Very good. Hacking risk, loss of control, reliance on internet. What if there is no internet? Will be expensive. Generally, cloud is not expensive because they are dealing in bulk. Generally, but not always. Can be hacked. Data privacy issues. Yes, technical issues. Very good. So the disadvantage of cloud, there are definitely big advantages: cost savings, access to technical expertise, ease for employees, like companies during the lockdown, during the COVID lockdown, companies which were on cloud, all their employees were able to access data from their home. But then the limitation is data breach, that you are now you're saving your data on someone else's server. So they can access all your data. Even if it's confidential, they can access. Then there is a high risk of hacking because these cloud servers are gold mines for hackers, right? There are constant efforts of hackers to break them. There's a very high dependency on availability of internet. Very important. If you don't have internet, you are screwed. You will not be able to connect to your Facebook, right? Will you be able to connect to your WhatsApp if there is no internet? No. And then there is also a very high dependency on the cloud provider. Yes, SOAP. Very good. Cloud provider also, there's a high dependency. Even if you have internet, what if the cloud provider runs away? What if his server goes hacked, or it goes down, or if there's an earthquake in his thing? Very good. Sirhan is saying iCloud was also hacked. Yes, as I said, these clouds are gold mines for hackers. Interesting. Eh? So all you need to know from an exam point of view is that what it means, what are the 2-3 advantages, and what are the 2-3 disadvantages. All right. What if the provider sells our data further? Yes, that's a risk. Right. So one thing before we did a question, right? Yeah. All right. So we're done with the technical article for this attempt. What I want to just point out one thing, that listen, guys, feel free to ask questions. Okay, I'm just joking, I'm kidding, like with the case with Vakas, but it doesn't matter. If you have a question in your mind, please ask, feel free to ask, because this is the forum and this is the time when you can ask questions. I will joke around it, I might get angry or whatever, doesn't matter, but I will try to address your questions. Don't feel shy. Okay, I will apologize with everyone in the end. So you can ask now. Right. Raising finances through ICO. Yes, Manish, this is covered in my September webinar. I will now. I'm getting questions on all these articles. I will cover this. Give me 5 minutes. Big data. Big data. Now you guessed from the name. What is big data? Big data is a data. The big data is some very, 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 very huge data. Obviously, today the value and importance of data is immense. If you have good quality data, you can do a lot of analysis, a lot of trends, and you can do a lot of good marketing and increase your revenue. So big data is something which is very big, and it is something like, can you imagine the amount of data Google has, or amount of data Facebook has? All the pictures you see, your friends contacts, your contact lists, where you like, what comments you made, where you pressed sad face, what kind of posts you make, what kind of web pages you have liked, all this data Facebook has about you, and based on that they have done your personality profiling. They exactly know what kind of girls you like, what kind of friend request you send to which kind of people, what kind of articles you like, what kind of abusive language you use. They know everything about you. And this is called big data. And now, supposing if someone has access to this big data, they will now use it to do targeted or personalized marketing. Hmm? So this is the concept of big data. Right. So now it's last exactly on 1 hour left. So I want to quickly recap some important things we have discussed, and then leave some time for Q&A sessions so that you can ask as much questions as possible. So let me recap first. Let me guide you what your study plan should be in the last 2 weeks. Let me give you some list of important topics, and then we will have some question and answers towards the end. Okay, so starting with exam techniques, the first technique we spoke about, this was on day 1, was linking with the exhibit. So you remember how we link with the exhibit? We have to first make a list of requirements. The CB students will make this list on their online word processor, and manual paper students will make this list on the last page of your answer sheet. And then you will read 1 or 2 paragraphs, you will stop, you will do your referencing, and then you will move to the next couple of paragraphs. Referencing is very, very important in SBL. By referencing, what do I mean? For those students who missed it, you need to write the question number, or you need to write any kind of comments in front of that paragraph, so that later on when you are drafting your answer, you can quickly search and pick up stuff. Okay, CBE students, how you will do referencing, you cannot write anything on the software, on the question paper, so you will just copy the sentences and paste it on your answer sheet under the respective question. We already made a list of requirements. So wherever you think that paragraph is important, you go copy and paste it under the respective question. Then the second thing was number of points. How do we decide the number of points for a normal question? We divide by 2, like 1 point carries 2 marks. And for a weakness recommendation question where we are supposed to identify weakness and give recommendation, we will allocate 3 marks per point. What is the size of each point? Maximum 1 point or 1 para should be 5 to 6 lines. This is more applicable to manual paper students. The third technique was time management, and we broke it into reading time and drafting time. Reading time, 60 minutes, you will read 1:many exhibit first, and then you will read 1:1 exhibits, and you will have to stop reading after 60 minutes. Whether your reading is complete or not complete, you will have to stop 60 minutes and move towards your drafting. For drafting, you will allocate 1.8 minutes per total mark. And whenever the drafting time is up, you will move to the next question. Just one small exception, that if you feel that it is a financial analysis question, or you feel that it is an easy question where you can score a couple of extra marks, then in those questions, maximum spend 5 more minutes extra just to grab 1 or 2 marks. Okay. Format of your answer, we discussed this yesterday. You linking your answer is a must. Paragraph style of drafting, 1 para should be 4 to 6 lines. Leave 1 line between each para. Look for stress words. Use a tabular format for weakness and recommendation type. Avoid using unnecessary models. And whenever you give recommendation in a report, just mention justification. And the last thing is, should we follow sequence? We just discussed this today, that we should follow the sequence in the first 3 hours of the paper, but in the last hour, you need to stop and pick that question first where you think you will score better marks. So any questions on Bezad is saying in the last exam there is an exhibit that cannot be linked to any question. What can we do in this situation? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure the exhibit will contain some information. Maybe you are not able to identify. Reading strategy, I just told you reading strategy. Yeah, so if you are not able to identify any exhibit, then what choice you have? You can't do anything, right? Yes. Okay. I will answer the remaining questions. Those formats, very, very, very important. The SBL is entirely a game of formats and professional skills. So if you see, there are 3 broad components in SBL: formats, professional skills, and technical skills. So in terms of priority, professional skills and formats is more higher, and technical skills is lower, because it's a very common sense paper. You can get away with anything as long as it is logically correct and it is in context with the case. So all you need to do is focus on professional skills and formats. Very, very, very important. And unfortunately, I check so many papers, SBL students like all of you, you give very less emphasis on formats. You just draw them casually. You don't really give a shit about the format. Please. You don't know what risk you are taking. So format is something very important. Report format, we have done this many times. It's pretty easy. We give a central heading and then to, from, subject, date, introduction, and no need to give any conclusion unless specifically mentioned in the question. Then there's something called section of the report format. So a couple of times the examiner has asked you to draft a section of a report. So it's just give a heading section of a report and then start your answer. No need to give to or from or subject date introduction, because it is not a report, it is a section of a report. So just give a heading section of a report and start your answer directly. Okay. Then briefing note, briefing paper or memo, we have discussed this many times. Just have a look at it. It is very similar to the report format. Some minor changes, that's it. Email format. Now again, in every attempt I have seen that they have started asking draft a email, and we have not covered email in any of our questions. So please look at the format of the email. Again, it's very simple and it's very similar. No rocket science. You will give a broad heading in the center, and then you will write to, from, subject, date, and then opening para which will say this email, and then copy paste from the requirements, like this email evaluates or this email analyzes, da 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 da. Very simple, eh? Then there is a presentation slide format. We discussed this in detail yesterday, I believe. So you need to draw the slide. Manual paper students, you will draw a proper slide on half page using a proper scale or a ruler, no freehand. You will give the headings inside and you will explain these headings in separate small paragraphs outside the box. For CBE students, you already have a presentation slide template in your software. All you need to do is click on that template. The box will open. You just type in the headings inside the box, and then below the box you write the paragraphs. Okay. Letter format. So this is I think in once the examiner has asked you to draft a letter, so I don't think it's important, but just in case you get a letter format, you will write a big letter in center, and then on the right side you will write your name and role. On the left side you will write the name and role of the addressee. Obviously there's a date, a subject, and then respected chairman or whoever is the addressee, and then you start the answer. Okay, just take a look of it. Letter. All right. Then there's a press release or a web release. We did this on day 2 or day 3. There will be a heading, a subject, the name of the chairman, the CEO, and the company name in center, and then you will kind of draft your answer. Now there's a business case format. This is more applicable for the topic called project management. Whenever you see a question that which says the draft a business case, then you need to use 3 headings: current situation, proposed solution or proposed option to address the situation, and then the benefits of the proposed option. Okay. Project initiation document. This is a very important format. Again, this is a topic for project management. We did not touch upon project management in March webinar, but I will just guide you where you will find it. So just bear with me, don't worry. And this is a format of project management. So this is a format for project initiation document. We call it PID. And if you see the PID, these are the standard contents of a PID. Okay. So you can take a picture or you can check it, see it later. I will guide you where you can find my video on project initiation document. When you get a question on weakness and recommendation, like internal control weakness, you use a tabular format. Wherever you get a question on risk and identify risk and mitigation factors. Try and use a tabular form. Right. So do I have any question on formats? Will we have to draft a PID? Yes. In one attempt, the examiner has asked you to prepare a PID. In another question, a PID was given to you and you were asked to identify gaps in the PID with skepticism skills. Sir, does format has marks? If yes, yes, definitely format has marks and it is covered under professional marks. Underline main format heading? Yes, why not? Can they ask to make a risk register? Yes, why not? In email, should we mention the recipient name? Yes, normally in real life, we have to mention the name of the recipient in email, otherwise the email will not go, right? So if you have a name, then please mention it. One line difference between format content. I don't know. For slides, insert bullet points. Can we numerals? Yes, you can use numbers instead of bullets. Should we write email address in to or from? No, no, no. How you email address you won't have. Write names, okay? Most of December questions asked for section of the report. Oh, I see. Right. Would we have been asked to list advantage, disadvantage, or it would come from the exhibits? Yes, you can be asked to list the advantages, disadvantages, and you will need to write the advantage, disadvantage in context of the case. Yes, of course, why not? Sir, if one format is wrong, example PID, will he get marks for writing the paras? Yes, you will get technical marks, but you will not get professional marks. Yes, tabular method. Yeah. Right. So I think we are going good. Professional skills. Do you remember what I call professional skills? Professional marks. I call them cash marks. Very, very important. 20 marks. If you're able to get at least 14, 15 marks, then for sure you will pass SBL. Okay, very, very important. So there are 5 professional skills marks. Evaluation skill, what do we need to do? We need to give a balanced assessment, which means you need to give both pros and cons, right? Analysis skills means that you need to give reasons for variances. You need to identify the root cause and give the reasons why the variance is there or why the problem is there. Communication skill is again very simple. You just focus on the format, very nice format, and the tone of your drafting, keeping in mind the addressee. Commercial acumen, again, it's not difficult. You just don't talk like an accountant, you talk like a business person. Use words like market share, customers, competition, opportunities, threats, risks. So show your business understanding rather than accounting jargons. Skepticism is the one which I personally feel is the most difficult out of this 5, because in skepticism you have to make a conscious effort to change the way you draft. You have to adopt a negative tone while drafting. So we talked about it in detail yesterday, right? Use words like I disagree, it seems incorrect, it's not clear, should be further investigated. Okay. Any questions on professional skills? Tommy, you just you can ask question by typing your comments here. Muhammad Ali is asking, is it compulsory to read the whole paper contents before you begin? Or you can answer some questions before you read? No, you have to read the entire paper and exhibits in the first 60 minutes before you start drafting. Never start the paper with incomplete. Okay. Now, certain issues for CBE students. So we all know that March attempt is the last attempt for manual paper globally, I think. Or maybe not globally, I'm not sure, but if, for sure Pakistan is last attempt for manual. From June, everybody will be on manual, sorry, CBE. But most of you are already giving CBE paper like European side and India, I believe. So there are certain issues with the CBE software which I want to highlight to you now so that you are mentally prepared. Okay. Your ID may be rejected by the automatic facial recognition software. This happened to several students because obviously your ID, picture on your ID and your real picture, if there's a big difference, the software will reject you. But then, you know, you will contact the invigilator online and he will visually check you, no problem. But don't panic. The purpose of this list is so that you are mentally prepared for these kind of hiccups. It should not shake your confidence right before the paper. Your system check may show a red cross at that time, doesn't matter, it will get fixed. Copy paste function from the mouse may not work sometime. This again, a lot of students gave me feedback that they were not able to copy paste. Copy paste is such a critical thing for SBL that you know all our referencing technique is based on copy pasting, right? Making a list of requirements, copy pasting the sentences under. If imagine copy pasting is not working, you are screwed, right? So sometimes it was not working. The mouse, there was this icon of copy and paste. It was not working. Then you can use Control C for copy and Control V for paste. Just like a Word document, you select Control C, Control V. During exam, the software can hang for or some feature might not work. For example, highlighter might not work. Sometimes the stupid software, because of the load, sometimes some feature stops working. Like highlighter doesn't work. How can I read without if the highlighter is not working? So please press refresh and it will resume. So just press the refresh button, it will refresh the entire thing. And because whatever you type is auto saved every 1 minute or something, so don't worry. If you refresh, whatever you've done so far is already saved. It will get automatically uploaded again. Now this one is a big one. Many students face this problem. It says software might close 10-15 minutes before time. So suddenly 15-20 minutes is left and the software closes and submits your paper on its own. So this one is crazy, because obviously the last 20 minutes is the most critical, okay, because that's where the make or break is. So in such a circumstance, if this happens, you must apply for mitigation circumstances. So you must immediately inform the invigilator that this has happened, and then you go through your login through your my ACCA page, and there you will see an option of mitigation circumstances, and there you should, it's a complaint type of a thing where you will say that my paper was like software was closed and submitted before time, and then they were at the time of checking they will consider your issue. Okay, so don't forget to apply for mitigation circumstances immediately after the paper if something bad has happened. Okay, this is how they will know that something bad has happened. All right, and then the actual CBE exam software is slightly different from the CBE practice platform. So obviously you need to practice your CBE on the CBE platform. So the practice software is slightly different from the actual software which you will get in the exam. Very minor differences, which the toolbar varies slightly, the way to select text varies slightly, copy pasting into Excel is a little bit different. So I don't want to go into it right now, but you can click here. There is a proper article on the ACCA's website, practice test function difference. There you can see how it's different, but nothing to worry about. It's just that um, so the purpose of sharing with you these risks of the software is that although there isn't much you can do about it, but at least if you are mentally prepared that these things may go wrong, at least you know what to do and you don't panic. So just keep a little bit of extra time so that you have a buffer. And if anything of this happens, don't panic. Okay, because this do happen. Most important is this one. Okay, then you need to apply for a mitigating circumstances if there's a major problem in the software. Do I have any questions? Can we apply for mitigating circumstances for manual papers? Very interesting. I believe yes. I believe yes. Uh, mm, Sometimes the screen gets stuck in the last 20 minutes. Exactly. So if the screen gets stuck in the last 20 minutes, then you need to apply for mitigating circumstances. You know what? Sometimes these invigilators, they don't even answer to you. So Tommy is asking, can we use SFA to appraise normal investments that are not acquisition? No, please. SFA only used for acquisition. For normal evaluation for any other option, you just use a common sense pros and cons approach. Please watch my day one video on this. Rejected for 30 an hour. Okay. Sir, kindly tell everyone not to place their hand in front of their mouth while thinking they will give you warning. Oh, okay, this is for CBE, I think. Is there any topic that is yet to come? Yes. Will they give some extra marks? Why? Are you very handsome? Okay, let me move on. There's lots to do, lots to do. I'm not done as yet. Now the important thing. Study plan in the last 2 weeks. So now guys, what you need to do right after this webinar. So let's say from tomorrow, what you need to do. So this is a very crisp plan, keeping in mind the short time frame, and most of you may be working students. So the first thing is you will watch the March 2021 webinar, which you already did. And in case you have missed any session, all the recorded sessions are available on YouTube, on Vimeo, and even on my Google Drive on my WhatsApp group. After that, you need to watch the December 2020 webinar because lots of topics I have covered there. So what I've done is, obviously I cannot cover like all the topics in one webinar, right? So what I do is I'm a little bit sneaky here. I cover a few topics in one webinar and leftover topics in another webinar. All right. So if you want to increase your coverage of the topics, then you need to watch 2 webinars. So in this case, you need to watch March 2021 webinar and then followed by December 2020 webinar. Again, December 2020 webinar is available on YouTube and Vimeo, as well as in my Google Drive on my WhatsApp group in case you are a member of that group. Then this was very important. Revise top 15 topics and 10 models only. Please do not expand your syllabus. Understand that you don't have time now. So you need to do a selective study. So just revise 15 topics and 10 models, and I will give you a list. I have selected the top important topics and models for you. So please you need to take a chance. Do not waste your limited time on other topics because you don't have time. So you will need to revise the 15 topics and 20 and 10 models, which means 25 in total, right? So I think that's enough. 25 topics is enough. Then you will practice 5 to 7 case studies from P1 and P3, provided that you have time. This is nice to do. But if you don't have time, then you don't do it. Then you directly go to the next thing. Practice 3 to 5 SBL question in writing with time management. You need to don't solve SBL questions mentally. Like during the webinar, we solved it verbally, right? We were not doing writing. But when you are doing a proper SBL question, take out 4 hours and do it properly. Solve it. You need to build your stamina. You need to understand, what you think you may not be able to write. So you need to practice, write, professional skills, formats. It has to be in writing with time management. Okay. Otherwise, you will not be able to pass it. And after that, you need to do 2 mocks under strict exam conditions and have it checked. A lot of resit students, I get their messages that, sir, we did the paper nicely, we completed the paper, but we don't understand why we got 38. Now, how would I know why you got 38? Tell you why you got 38. So the only thing I can tell to them is, look, I'm a doctor. I need to see some lab reports. Then I can diagnose what's your problem. So then if you want to identify your mistakes, especially research students who have done self-study, the last thing is that you do a proper mock and then you have it checked from any SBL examiner. Okay. I also provide this service, but unfortunately it's not free. My college doesn't allow me to, do so much of free voluntary activities. So I have a crash mock based session, which is starting on Valentine Day, on day after tomorrow, 14th Feb. And in that I would be solving 3 SBL questions in a live class. It will be like 5-6 hours each day. And then I will keep one live mock exam. You will need to do the mock exam and then you will submit your script to me. I will check it in detail like in an exam situation, like an examiner, and give you marks and feedbacks on your strengths and weaknesses. But that's an optional thing. You don't have to go with me at all. You can go with any tutor who's well qualified. But the point is, have your mocks checked by a qualified person. Then only you will know if you are right or wrong. If you compare your mocks yourself with the examiner's answers, that's pretty misleading. Okay. So I will share the details of my mock session in the WhatsApp group. So if you're not member of the WhatsApp group, my admin will share the link on the question comments, and you can click on that. Very important. Stay away from books and revision kit. You don't have time. Okay, do not follow everything you hear from left, right, and center. You need to be very focused and adopt a smart approach. You just need to know 15 topics and 10 models. I will give you a list, and you can use my simplified notes. Okay, no need to use any books, and especially the kits, they are pretty bad. You know, the questions in the kits are not something similar to the real exam conditions, and the answers are more confusing. So use actual SBL case studies. You can get my simplified notes. It's in my Google Drive in the WhatsApp group. All the past papers are there in my Google Drive. Just use those, okay? Any questions before I move to the next one? Yes, Abu Bakr, that's fine. If you have not done P1, P3, now you don't. If you have time, you can. But if you don't have time, then leave it. Textbook is a nightmare, 100%. It's a nightmare for me as well. So I can imagine. I will talk about articles. No, not. You don't have to do all the articles. Just the last 2-3 articles, okay? Sir, is there notes of all these models? Yes, there are notes available. Any tips for people who are giving? Adil, ask these questions towards the end, okay? I will have 10 minutes in the end for such questions. Now, this is the list of important topics. You see, I told you 10 models and 15 topics. So just focus your study around these 25 topics, okay? And of course, plus professional marks and exam techniques, which we have already done. But as far as your study is concerned, only these 10 models and these 15 topics. Do not waste a single minute beyond this because you decided to start late. If you had time like 3 months, I would have given you a longer list. But now it's 2 weeks left. So better you revise, focus on these 25 only. This is a very important slide, this one. Take a picture of it. So out of these 10 models and 15 topics, which I just showed you here, I've covered almost 90% of them in my webinars. So if you look at March, so all this is a list of topics which I've covered in March. So all these topics have been covered in March. For example, we covered SFA on day 1, financial projections, social environmental. We did pastel porter on day 2. Sorry, this is day 2. And then on day 3, we talked about ratios, budgets, and corporate governance. And on day 4, we talked about risk management, remember, internal control, professional ethics. And today we talked about integrated reporting. We talk about technical article on cyber, and we've recapped exam techniques, formats, professional marks. So if you go here, I mean, we've done like 50% of the topics in March. What about the others? So in December attempt was focusing on these topics. So for example, SWOT and TOES, you can go to December. Day 1, you will find SWOT and TOES. Day 2, you will see a model called context of change and corporate parenting. These are here. If you see here, context of change and corporate parenting. Okay, so all those I've covered. Day 3 is Harmon, big data, e-business. Day 4 is risk mitigation, audit committee, internal audit, funding strategies. And then if you will need to go to September as well. because project management and PID you need to cover from day 4. I've even mentioned the days for you so that you don't have to waste your time searching all the videos. So go for September 2020 webinar, open day 4 video, and you will see project management. And technical articles, you will see blockchain and crypto on day 5. Now, this is the maximum I can do for you. I cannot hold your fingers more than this. Okay, I've given you all my webinars, all my resources, even the day number I'm mentioning to you by topic wise. All you need to do is watch it. Okay, and then again, one thing is left. So you need to go to my March 2020 webinar to cover cultural web and technical article or Internet of Things. So please, I really beg of you, take advantage of all this P2P. I've tried to cover all the topics in all my webinars. Just one or two topics are left, like value chain or stakeholders mapping model, which I might cover in my next webinar. But as of now, 95% of the topics which are mentioned here is now available to you along with practice questions. Okay, and these are all free resources, especially for self-study students and people who are financially challenged. Please use this. The only thing which is not available free is my checking of your mocks, because that involves a lot of time on an individual basis. So that my college doesn't allow me, right? Any questions? Yes, Vakas, this is all available on YouTube, and all these webinars are available in my Google Drive as well. Okay, and if it's, I'm not sure about March 2020, but September, December is there, and I will upload March 2021 as well. No, Abu Bakr. What about value chain? I think value chain is not an important topic. Why are few topics light color in 25? Very interesting. Niharika, I'm really impressed. There are 3 topics which are light colors. I really like. Are you an auditor? So here in this, there are 3 topics which are in light color. Which are those topics? Very smart. So these one, light color, this one, and this one. These are the ones which I have not covered in any webinar as yet. Okay, value chain, stakeholder, and soft. So you can Google, you can find any YouTube. It's okay. Value chain, I don't think is important, but you can look at stakeholder and very nice. What else? Yes, Niharika, I know you are an auditor. Chandani, June attempt, I will have a June proper batch after March attempt, and up to you. You can join crash for June, or you can take full classes, up to you. Sir, should we expect something from GAP webinars conducted by ACCA and exams? What is GAP webinars, Abir? Please share the link. Admin, please can you share the link? Yeah, okay. Admin has shared the link to my WhatsApp group. So Abir, what is a GAP webinar? Bridging the Gap webinar. So I don't know. I haven't seen it. I mean, you can take a look at it, but now you know how to pass SBL, right? So there's a theoretical approach and a street smart approach. So I personally feel, and it's my opinion, personal opinion, and I might be wrong, that what I taught you was a street smart approach. I think no other teacher will tell you things like this, but I believe in achieving the objective by hook or by crook. So I'm more focused on street smart approach, because CFOs are supposed to be street smart. Otherwise, you're not fit to be a CFO. All those articles and bridging the gaps are more theoretical, more structured way. So it all depends on your mind, what kind of approach your mind accepts. Can you talk briefly about Internet of Things? No, Soap, I can't right now. You need to watch the webinar. Any predictions about the exam topic? Yes, I just gave you 10 models and 15 topics. That's my prediction of the exam topic. Tim is asking a very interesting question. Tim said, sir, if we do SBL paper first, and if we are left with time, then can we do P1 and P2 paper, P3 papers? Very interesting. Yes, if you have time, then maybe, yeah, that's a better approach. Then first do SBL and then P1, P3 if you have time. I have no issues. Simplified notes, you mean slides? No, by simplified notes, I have my own notes, not the slides, but you can follow these slides. So these handouts is the simplified notes. Yeah, good one. These handouts are very simplified. Just follow these. Can you tell important articles? I just mentioned cyber security. Before that, it was blockchain and crypto. And before that, it was Internet of Things. That's it. Saad Malik is asking if someone prepared these 25 topics along with general knowledge and common sense, will he score good? 200% yes. As I think I told you, I mentioned in the first class that in my previous webinar, 4 students were global place, like country place winners. Okay, one scored 86, one scored 79. There were like 4 countries, and there were 4 top like place winners for their respective countries, and all of them only did the webinars. They were self-studying students, working students. In fact, that was the second attempt for most of them. The first attempt they did on their own. They were not able to pass. Second attempt, they focused on the webinar, they focused on all these things, and they became the country top scorers for their respective countries. Ozair, I just answered this question. Yes, Arsalan, I will share the list of questions. Sabah, no, all the articles are not important, but since someone asked, I mean, what doesn't matter, it's important, not important. Just watch the videos, that's it. What topics were tested in December? Syed Jalal, I'm afraid I don't know top of my head, because you know they don't publish the papers, they just publish sample papers. They merge September and December paper. So I can just guess. If you read the examiner's report, then you'll know which topics were tested. I had read it, but I don't remember the topics now. Okay, so let's move a little bit more. So this slide is very, very important. Please take a picture of it, or you must refer to it every day. This is your checklist. This is your checklist. Okay, this is your Bible. Now this is a list of practice questions starting with P3. If you have time, you don't have to do all P3 questions, or you don't have to do P3 questions on your own. I have given a list of P3 questions. So if you have time, you do these 4 P3 questions only. Okay. And then if you have time, these are the 2 P1 questions. So in total, 4 plus 2, 6 questions from P1 and P3 if you have time. As Tim mentioned that maybe he wants to do SBL first, and then if he has time, he can do P1, P3. Yes, but restrict yourself to these 6 questions. All right. Now, SBL paper practice. So this is a list of SBL papers which you need to do. So you must do specimen paper 2, specimen paper 3. I am avoiding specimen paper 1 because it's a very weird paper. It will shake up your confidence, okay? And then you do the actual September 2018, December 2018, March 2020. Again, this is a shaky paper, but try it. And then you can do September, December 2019, which is DULS. And then under mock, you try and attempt March, June 2019, which is smartware, and September, December 2020, which is BCO. Okay. If I take a mock, I might go for either one of these questions. I might give one of these questions in my paid mock session. So those of you who are planning to take my paid mock, avoid these two questions. We will practice this and we will solve this under mock. Okay. So please remember the top 3 reasons why students fail as per the examiner. The answers are not linked with exhibits. That's the reason number 1 why students fail. Insufficient number of points. That's reason number 2. And poor time management. Reason number 3. And honest to goodness, I have spent a lot of time in this webinar on trying to fix or explain these 3 things to you guys. So please remember, don't lose sight of the big picture. These are the 3 most common errors as per examiner. You must focus and fix these weaknesses. Okay. Now, there are nowhere on the top 3 there is any mention of technical weaknesses, right? So please. My first day slide, I'm trying to repeat it now. It is a very different paper. Stop thinking like a student. You need to think like a CFO. You need to adopt this mindset. Stop thinking that your paper is being sent to the examiner. Think that you are sending your report to the board of directors, and especially if you know the age, automatically you will draft something very simple. So it's just the mindset. Do not let the exam stress or the examiner's fear sit on your mind. Throw them out. Okay. Think like you are the boss. Think that no one is smarter than you. And just you need to talk about basic things. Simple basic things. Yeah. So with this, my bottom line message is, please do not over study. Instead, do over practice. Do not try to do the book and all the topics. You don't have time. Focus on the 25 topics which I have said, and you utilize bulk of your time in practicing the SBL questions, the P1, P3 questions if you have time. When you practice, automatically all the topic will get revised in that, right? So that's all from my side. Fatima is asking, should we mention exhibit number in the answer or not? Fatima, would you mention the exhibit number in the board of directors report, which you will send to the board of directors? Sir, in December 20 question, what board of audit firm, which I have no idea. I think in September, there was a Sajid, in September, there's a question on audit firm, not in December. December was, I think, charitable, but I don't know. What is the pros and cons of disruptive technologies? Doesn't matter. I mean, pros will be that it is more revenues. The pros of disruptive technology, there's that is the latest trend. It's the new strategy. The cons, it will require investment and it is something new. This means high risk. Adil is asking, yes, very important question. Adil, thank you. Adil is asking, sir, tip for those who are attempting 2 exams in March, SBL and AFM. So this is happening with a lot of students, that most of you, or maybe some of you, are giving 2 papers in March. One is SBL and one is some other paper, maybe AFM, maybe AAA, but some other paper. So you're giving 2 papers in March. So listen very carefully. I don't want to scare you or freak you out, but giving another paper along with SBL is not a good idea in the first place. I'm not saying this because of time preparation issue, or I know you have all the time in the world to prepare for it. It's fine. The reason why I'm saying it's not a good idea is it's very important. SBL has a very different exam technique and a very different mindset. You felt it, right? It's a very different paper, different mindset, different exam technique. This mindset and this exam technique you have never ever used in other papers, nor you will use this in the other paper which you will give, because that other paper like AFM or AAA has its own techniques which is significantly different. Now the risk is, because the exam technique and the mindset is like 180 degrees different, at a subconscious level, at your subconscious level, sometimes you might overlap during the paper. So all you need to do is be very, very careful that while during the paper, you just focus clearly on the exam techniques and the mindset of the respective papers. Do not try to cross the techniques or use techniques, similar techniques in both of them. Make a Chinese wall. You know this in from your audit or some other subject, that segregation of duty, and have a Chinese wall. So please keep the exam techniques and mindset as far different as possible. So those of you who are giving 2 subjects, it's too late for anything. Just be mindful of the fact that do not mix your exam techniques. Otherwise, it will screw up, both paper or either one paper. Usama, 90 minutes, you cannot read 90 minutes. You have to stop reading in 60 minutes. What will happen? Your 1:1 exhibit will remain. Okay, so this time none of you should read more than 60 minutes. If it is incomplete, stop reading and let's start drafting. If you plan properly, your 1:1 exhibits might be skipped, which you can always read when you are starting your case study. How to judge the length of a point in CBE? Just try to give 1.1 paragraph. That's it. 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines is more than enough. Even 2 lines is enough in CBE, because in CBE the number of words per line is more as compared to number of words per line in a manual paper. So even if you write 2 lines, 1.5 lines, that's sufficient in CBE. But for manual paper, it has to be 3, 4, 5 lines at least. Okay. Yes, Manish, you can. Yes, a lot of students are saying that I have made this sound very easy, I've made it less stressful. It is actually easy and a less stressful paper. Why you feel stressed out is for a couple of reasons. One, you get to hear so many bad things from so many sources. You know, then in with this WhatsApp and Google and YouTube, there is something called information overload. So you get to receive so many things. Someone will ask, oh, have you done Tucker's ethical model? Now you will freak out. Oh, what the hell is Tucker's ethical model? Forget about it. So just, you know, focus on the basics and common sense, presentation, format, professional skills. This is what you need to focus on: formats and professional skills. Theory will be from the exhibits, from the common sense. Nobody can. Yeah. So avoid information overload. Avoid those students who are crazy. Avoid those students. They panic themselves and they will make you panic. So avoid those students, avoid large students group. Even in my WhatsApp group, if someone asks a wrong question, I give that person a piece of my mind, and I can also shoot that person if he repeats that mistake. So just basics. And please remember, you are giving SBL paper. It's a core paper. Some of you are giving SBR paper, again a very senior level paper. Some of you are giving AFM as well. It's a senior level paper. So if you guys have reached this stage of ACCA where you are about to give SBL or SBR or AFM or AAA, you are the senior most batch of ACCA right now. And if you have reached this level, you are not dumb. Okay, you do have some level of intelligence in you, otherwise you would never have been talking about SBL or SBR or AFM. You do have intelligence. It's just that SBL needs a little bit of different technique. Just follow that and you will pass. Okay, just follow the techniques, you will pass. All right, guys. So with that, I would like to end up the session. It's 2 minutes over the time. And please, if you are not in my WhatsApp group, if you want to stay in touch, please click the link provided by admin. Admin, can you please provide the link once more? I think they just provided. And if you can't, then you can message me on my WhatsApp. This is my number. You can see on the screen here. This one, okay? And I will try to add you on my group. And then from Sunday, my mock will be starting. I have limited seats because I work as well, so I have limited time band. So right, guys, I wish you really all the very best for your exam. Do not panic. Stay calm. Stay focused. With this, see you later. Stay safe and good night.